So the Rebbe is talking about this iskafia nesapcha, bringing the Shekhinah back down here below as it was in the beginning of creation, which is accomplished only through our avodah here in this world. And what kind of avodah in this world? By actually engaging with the gashmias and the tachten and iskafia nesapcha. A person can be in Olam Hazar tachten and he doesn't engage with Olam Hazar tachten b'chlal. He's living in some other world. But the Aveda in Olam Hazar Gufa has to be in a way that he's connected to the Tachten and elevating the Tachten, transforming the Tachten. Let's continue inside. Hinei al yidei yiskafia vis hapcha l'shtus de kedusha. A person does his Aveda in this world, whether it's iskafia or his hapcha, to transform the shtus of the other side into kedusha. Al yidei zeh memalim kavanas abriya. This fulfills the purpose of creation. To make a dwelling for Hashem here below. The fact that through our avodah in this world, we create a dwelling for Hashem here in this world, that Hashem comes back to His garden. We are building a dwelling for Hashem in this world, and the presence of Hashem will be revealed in this world even greater and more than it was before the Chet of Eitz Hadas. Just as it is simply by even a human being. If there's a beautiful building, but you knock it down, it's only for the purpose to build something bigger and better. Whatever was demolished is only for the purpose to build something which is on a higher level. So too we must say, this brings a dwelling for Hashem here in this world on a higher level. And so everything is by design. This is as it says regarding Chet Eitz Hadas, that even though it seems that Chet Eitz Hadas was something that went sort of off the tracks, which is also true. It was a chet. It was a chet by a choice of B'chira Chavshis, of Adam Rishon, and he shouldn't have sinned, and that brought the biggest destruction and death to the world and so on. But at the same time, though, every single yeridah that happens in the world, including those yeridahs that are a result of the choice of a human being, starting from Adam Rishon, and the same is true with every person as well, the Eibishter allows it to happen only because the Yerida of a Chet will then become a catalyst to bring a person to a much higher level. When he does tshuva and he brings back his connection to the Eibishter. And over here, when a person brings back the Eibishter into the world, it's b'madrege yeiser nailus. As he brings in the Maimed Alidei, Yiskaf Yisitra Achre, Estalek Yikara the Kutchabrichu B'Kulu Alm. You draw down the level of the Eibishter, the glory of Hashem, B'Kulu Alm. Friedrich Rebbe teaches in the Maamar, what does this expression of Kulu Alman mean? It's not only telling you where the presence of Hashem is drawn back into, but it describes the presence of Hashem itself. It brings that level which is equal in all worlds. Although in the Maamar he uses the term that light of Hashem that encompasses all the worlds, which sort of implies that we're talking about a level that has a relation to the existence of the worlds. It's a level of Hashem's energy that is not enclosed and invested within the worlds, but at least it's using the term Saiviv Kol Alman. Even Saiviv Kol Alman means that it's a level related to the existence of the worlds. Kol Makam, however, Ef Shalaimar, we cannot say Shakavanuhu Shenimshach Oyershu Begeder Oilamis, that this is a revelation of a level that has some relation to the existence of the worlds. Elo, rather, Shehu Seiviv Elo, and Shehu Seiviv Umakif Aleim. It encompasses, and in all the worlds, it's not within, it doesn't get enclosed and become limited and designed according to the particular existence of that world, but it encompasses the worlds. That's what Seiviv sounds like. So in that sense, Seiviv Kalalman and Memala Kalalman have a similarity. They are both an energy of Hashem that comes and has some relative connection to the existence of the world. Memala is a level that's mamish limited and designed according to each individual level. And within each world itself, this daimim, tzameach, chaim, medaber, it's the level of the Eibish's chayis that's limited and designed on that particular level that it's giving life to. Soviv is makif everything equally, but even soviv is an energy that directly relates to the mitzias of the world. For example, in the person, there is the seichel, there's the midas, there's all kinds of kaiches that a person has that he uses and functions on an individual level. That he's using that kayach, and then there's the kayach haratzen. The kayach haratzen is that motivating force behind a lot of things that the person does, and it encompasses everything. But the kayach haratzen is not removed of his activity. It's not removed of the thing of his behavior. Adarabah, the kayach haratzen is makif and is the force behind his behavior. So the same thing when you use the term soviv kol almin. Soviv kol almin does not mean that this is a level that's removed of all the ilamis. It means that this is a level that encompasses everything, but is the force behind all the ilamis. So in that sense, it's shayach. It relates to the existence of the worlds. So rather, the Rebbe says, Elo, over here in the Maamar, the Frierdiker Rebbe. When he talks about soviv, what's the pshat soviv? Hakavana shenimshach oyer naila she'ene begeda ilamis klal. Here we're talking about a level of godliness that's completely removed of the existence of the world. Even though we're using the term soviv, and he adds the word kol almen, but the real kavan of what he means here is it's a level of the Eibish's chayis that's completely removed of the level of the existence of the worlds at all. Where do you see this in the Maamar? So that's because of the lashon of the Zohar that he quotes. Therefore, he refers to this revelation with the expression of the Zohar, which means istalik. Istalik means removed. Completely removed, totally higher of the existence of the worlds, not a direct connection like mamala, not an encompassing connection like soviv, but istalik. Completely removed. That's the raya that the kavan over here is this ayah.
I understand. But why do you think the Rebbe Frierdiker would have used the word soviv, since he says that means a...
It's a good question. These Lashonos and Chassidus all the time are interchangeable. Even especially when you learn Torah, look at the Torah, sometimes it'll use the term soviv, and it means mamala, it means soviv, and atzmus, it means this, it means that, and even in Tanya also. It's these terms of mamala, soviv are not always clear exactly what it means. Sometimes he uses mamala, and it really means atzmus. It's possible. I mean, so over here he's saying even though he uses the term soviv, he's not using the term soviv to explain a certain connection or closeness. Adarabah, he's using the term soviv in the sense that it's above, that it's removed, and of haraya because he also uses the term istalik, which means removed. So now the Rebbe brings in over here in connection to this term istalik. So this is of course the Maamar that the Rebbe said on the first yahrzeit of the Frierdiker Rebbe. So he talks about the histalkus of tzaddikim, where he also used that same term, histalkus, which simply means that the tzaddik leaves or is removed from the place that he was. The Rebbe explains the pshat in this. And therefore we see gam petiras tzaddikim nikra b'shem histalkus. When a tzaddik passes away from this world, the term that's used is histalkus. What does the term histalkus mean? Ki histalkus hu gilui or naila b'yoser. The meaning of histalkus, on one hand, the simple pshat of the word histalkus means that it's removed. But the real pshat of histalkus is elevated to a higher level, and as a result, it brings about a much greater revelation. Just as in the Zohar, when it uses the term histalik yikar lekutche b'richa b'kula almin, it of course does not mean that when a person does a skafi and hishapche, the Eibishter is removed. You drive the Shechina away from the world. Istalik. The taich of istalik there means that you access a much greater light, which is on the level of istalik, and that level is what you bring and reveal into the worlds. The same is also with the istalkus of a tzaddik. The term istalkus that's used is that the tzaddik gets elevated and he draws from a place which is completely removed of the regular level that's connected to the worlds. Gili nail nail b'yaser. There are two letters with Alter Rebbe and Tanya. And Igeres HaKadosh explains what happens at the time of the histalkus of a tzaddik, Shemavayre Minyan Histalkus. Igeres HaBeis in the second letter, Inyan Histalkus, where he explains the histalkus of a tzaddik, Muvur Shom Be'inyan Paras Chatos. He explains over there that the histalkus of a tzaddik accomplishes similar to what the Para Aduma can accomplish. What's the chiddush of the Para Aduma? So simply, the Parah Aduma seems to be something to be mitayar people that are Tmei Meis, and it's not related to any other carbon. It's a completely different inyan. But the Gemara says that the Parah Aduma is also like a carbon, but it accomplishes more than a carbon. It's brought outside and it's sprinkled on the person that's Tamei because it has a greater effect than a regular carbon. It's also a carbon, but on a higher level. The other karbanis that are brought inside the Beis HaMikdash, they can't reach to refine and elevate Gimel Klippas Atmeis. Ki'im, the lowest of Klippa. Ki'im, Inyan, Hanas B'chutz Dafke, Para Hanas B'chutz, the Para Aduma, which is brought on the outside of the Beis HaMikdash, this has a greater holiness. It doesn't have less holiness because it's brought outside, and it's not like a regular carbon, it's actually even greater. And therefore it's brought outside because it has a greater koyach to extend further, to bring the kedusha, to bring the tara even to a person that's tamei, into a place of gimel klippas atmeis. As we know, tmei meis is a person that's been completely disconnected. The karbanis in the Beis HaMikdash are only brought for a person that's karban chatas, is for a person that did an avera b'shoigig, right? Or a person has a suffix, most of the karbanis. But the karban chatas, the Parah Aduma, which is also called a chatos, the Gemara says chatos karya rachmana, is brought on the outside, and it's brought for a person which is tmei meis, because it's a much greater level of a carbon and it extends much further down. So it says in the Gemara that if you look in the parsha there by Parah Aduma, what's the next thing that comes in the parsha right after Parah Aduma? The Misa of Miriam. Why does the Misa of Miriam come right there? Because we compare the effect of Parah Aduma to also what happens when a tzaddik passes away, the revelation that he brings, that he gets elevated to and therefore reveals in the world, is similar to the kayach of the revelation that comes through the Parah Aduma. So today we do not have a Parah Aduma. Because of our Vedas, we were exiled of the land. However, what happened was a tzaddik passed away. And that, the passing away of a tzaddik, brings a siluk, it brings a great revelation into the world. So regarding that tzaddik passing away, there are two expressions that it says one in the Gemara and one in the Medrash. One is shkula misasan shal tzaddikim kisreifas beis Elokeinu. The passing of a tzaddik is compared to the burning of the Beis HaMikdash. That's how difficult and painful and how big of a hell and vehester it is, like the Beis HaMikdash which is burnt. Another one is Kosh Silukan Shal Tzadikim Yaisim Yechorban Beis HaMikdash. The passing of a tzaddik is actually even worse, is even greater than, it accomplishes something even more than the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash. So on one hand, when you look at the silukan, the siluk, the petira of a tzaddik, it's actually b'chitzonius. What do we see? The tzaddik that was here and functioning and revealing his kaiches in this world and all the hashpah that the tzaddik brings in this world, when he passes away, he's removed. Like when the Beis HaMikdash is destroyed. But we know what it says, b'negei to the Churban Beis HaMikdash as well. What happened when the Goyim came into the Beis HaMikdash at the time of the Churban? What did they see in the Kodesh HaKadoshim? They saw the Kruvim that were Mu'urin Zebazeh. They saw the greatest and deepest expression of relationship between the Yidden and the Eibishter that was there in the Kruvim at the time of the Churban Beis HaMikdash. Because even though B'Chatzaini is the Churban Beis HaMikdash is the greatest siluk and the greatest removal of Hashem's presence amongst Klal Yisrael, but dafke then there's a greater revelation of the etzem of the Eibishter that's connected to Yidden that's greater than any other time. We learned this in the Purim Maimer, Balayla Hu Tavshim Mem Dalet, because the Rebbe speaks about this Ba'arichas, that Golos in the Lashon of Chazal and the Psukim is compared to sleep, Shina. The Eibishter Kaviyachal Ura Lamasishan Avaya or what's the significance of sleep? The chitzaini is when a person is sleeping, there's no functions of the seichel and the midas and all of his kaiches. But the pnimius, what happens is the kaiches return and connect to the etzem of the person. They go up lamaila and they return to the etzem. And therefore, at the time of Golos, the avodah of Yidden and the connection of the Yidden kav to the Eibishter is to the essence of the Eibishter, which is higher than the chitzainius, higher than the Giluyim. So in the Chitzainius of what we see in a Churban Beis HaMikdash, it's the greatest destruction greatest removal of the presence of Hashem. But really, though, b'pnimius, what's happening is it returns to the source, and there's a deeper relationship that's now available between the Yid and Hashem in this matzav of Golus. So similarly, also b'negeh to a tzaddik, when a tzaddik passes away. So even though the Gemara Taka tells us that b'chitzainis it's compared to the Churban Beis Hamikdash, or it's even worse than the Churban Beis Hamikdash, but yet we refer to it with the term histalkus. Because the term histalkus teaches us that even if b'chitzainis it's l'chayra, a big hell in the hester, but b'pnimius a tzaddik is going up to his source. His neshama is returning back to the source, and therefore he draws and brings that source that he's connecting to. That great revelation is being brought here into this world as well. Asher al yidei kol zeh, through all of this, whether you talk about the Churban Beis Hamikdash or whether you talk about the passing of a tzaddik, is stalik yikara the Kodesh B'richa. The expression of the Zohar is stalik. What's the pshat of stalik? Pirish inyan istalkos. The correct interpretation of the word istalkos is pirishu kol harabbeim. So all of the rabbeim have said, Kvoi kedushas admor azokin, kvoi kedushas admor amtzoi, kvoi kedushas admor tzamach tzedek, kvoi kedushas admor marash, kvoi kedushas admor nishmas eidne, kvoi kedushas mori v'chomi admor. So they have all said that what she'ein a kavana b'pirish tevis istalkus, shu aliyah l'mailachas v'shalom. The word istalkus does not mean that he's going away, that he's being removed above, God forbid, with disconnecting. Ki'im a kavana shehu nimtza l'mata. He's found here below. He's found here in an exalted way. He's found there in a level where he draws from a higher place, from a place of istalik, and that gets revealed here below. So Adarabah, whatever limitations the world before, when the tzaddik was here in the Shama Beguf in this world, now the tzaddik is drawing from a higher place and is revealing that higher revelation here before without those limitations that he had before. This is what's demanded of each one of us. And the Rebbe returns to the lashon that he said before in the Maamar. The seventh generation from the Alter Rebbe, Chol, Ashvi, and Chavivin, and all of the sevenths are always cherished, are special, and unique, have a great power. As agam, as mahotas nit verdient und nit ausgeharvet. Although we did not earn this to be in this generation, we did not toil and accomplish this through our own efforts. Kol makam, however, Kol Ashvi and Chavivin, the ones that are in the seventh generation have that special connection. What's the Aveda of the seventh generation? To bring the Shechina down here below. So just as it speaks about in the Medrash regarding the seven tzaddikim, starting from Avram till Moshe Rabbeinu, the same is also with the Alter Rebbe. When the Alter Rebbe began the Aveda of Chassidus Chabad, the objective of Chassidus Chabad was to bring the Shechina down into this world. But Alter Rebbe brought the Shechina down into one level. Chabad, the idea of Chabad is to bring it down into the Metzias of Seichel, to the existence of Seichel, which is a big tachten. Seichel is, if you compare Seichel to the Amunah of a Yid, to the pure faith a Yid has in Hashem, Seichel is where a person's thinking and trying to understand things with his own logic. That's a big tachten that you bring the Shechina into. That was the first Chiddush that the Alter Rebbe accomplished, to take those in Yonah that the Baal Shem Tov revealed and strengthened the simple faith of a Yid and brought it down that it could be explained and understood with Seichel. And then each one of the Rabbeim brought it down a level further. The Mittel Rebbe brought it down further into Bina, the Tzemach Tzedek Das. Each one of the Rabbeim are bringing the Shechina down a further level into this world, until our generation, the seventh generation, to bring the Shechina down l'mata masara tfachim, to bring down the Shechina to the lowest place. Like you see b'mochish, regarding the two things. First of all, b'negeh to the Rebbe's Torah, where the Rebbe explained things. The Hasbedim in the Rebbe's Torah, the way the Rebbe approaches Chassidus, and the Rebbe himself said it many times, that you should learn Chassidus and understand Chassidus the same way you learn a Sugya and Nigla. And you understand the ideas, the concepts, they're tangible, and they're ideas that you could relate to and explain and argue about and discuss. So the approach to learning Chassidus has to be with the same attitude. And you see it mamish in the Rebbe's Torah, the way the Rebbe explains things, the way he defines things, and the way he dissects things is with a very similar approach to the way Limud HaNigla is. Right, so the Rebbe brought down things to in the Torah of the Chassidus of the Rebbe to the lowest level that our seichel should understand it. And also B'chlal, as we know, what the Rebbe did, in bringing down the Shechina Lamata Masar Tvachim, to bring Elokus into every single corner of the world, and to bring it out into the streets, and to all people, to every level, to men, women, children, on all levels, that it's the connection to the Eibishter should be shaykh to everybody. So what the Rebbe is doing is a hemshech and the completion of what Alter Rebbe began. There are certain people that look at it and say that the Chassidus Maamar, sorry, the Alter Rebbe, and all the deities of Chassidus Chabad, they were more insular, they were more secluded, they were more in the little shtetl, and they weren't the hafatzah to go out into the street, wasn't the derech of Chassidus Chabad. The Rebbe came along and Kavayachal began this new type of Aveda, going out into the street with mitzvah tanks and so on. It's different. This is not what Chabad was really about. What the Rebbe is pointing out over here, this is the essence of what the Alter Rebbe began to bring the Shechina Dal Mata Masaret Tvachim. Elamai, in the times of the Alter Rebbe, it was the initial stage, it was the Shechina coming down to the Kiyah HaAleph. And over here, today, the Rebbe is taking the exact same inyan, but bringing it down a level further. Bringing it down all the way down, not only one level further, but the final level, to bring down that very same beginning of what the Alter Rebbe began into the world, into the streets, into the lowest element of existence. It's a hemshech, and it's the completion of the same inyan.
Not only that, but before, when he gave the stories of the Rebbe, it was Bepoil. You see, they came out in Poil. The Alter Rebbe came out and cooked for the...
Went out of, right, that's what expressed the Aveda of the Alter Rebbe. Correct.
That was
their Aveda, correct, yeah. So where does it all begin? To bring the Shechina down Lamata Mamish, it all begins within the person himself. The Tachtain, you don't have to go too far out into the street to find the Tachtain. The Tachtain very often is right there within the person himself. To transform the foolishness of his own Nefesh HaBahamis. A person knows good and well as hotos, that he has that shtus of the Nefesh HaBahamis. Und dem Koch von Nefesh HaBahamis, and not only the shtus, but also the Koch. Shtus refers to seichel. When a person is in his seichel, is confused and has foolish ideas, doesn't have the right perspective in his seichel. As the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya, all the various different ideas of shtus. Alter Rebbe in Perek Yudalad explains the idea of Aidenu b'Yadusai, that a person thinks that when he does an Aveda, I'm not so disconnected. I can retain my Yiddishkeit and do an Aveda at the same time. That's a shtus. That's a shtus and seichel. Or the point Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, the fact that a person makes a distinction between, God forbid, serving Aveda Zarah, which that's clearly disconnecting from the Eibishter, or doing another Aveda, something else which may even be a davar kal midivrei seifrim, Lashon of Alter Rebbe, like a light thing that seems to be just a small petty thing that the Chachamim were masakin, and there he doesn't feel that he's getting disconnected to the same extent. That's also a shtus, because anything a person does, there's a pirut. He's separating himself from his connection to the Eibishter. And more, so the idea of shtus is in the seichel, that the person should have the proper perspective, and his neshama should tell him the right ideas of what his connection to the Eibishter is. And then there's the koch. The koch from the Nefesh HaBahamis is, of course, the emotional part of the Nefesh HaBahamis, which has the taivus and is drawn into Olam Hazeh. Was hotos, that the person knows good and well that he has this in himself. Und efsher amol noch nidriker, and that possibly it's even more than just the shtus and koch. It could even be lower than that a person falls into places that are forbidden for a yid to be there. So to take this and to make out of this, to transform this, the shtus to kedusha, that it should become shtus to kedusha, to use the same energy, the very same energy where a person does things when he's not thinking, and to dedicate himself to the Eibishter also, to a degree where he's not beyond his rational thinking, to be completely committed, higher than seichel, even higher than seichel de kedusha. So this is also what happens when a tzaddik is a spater. He leaves the world, or as we said before, he doesn't really leave, but he leaves the confines of the world. There were many different things that are covering over the presence of the Eibush in this world, and a tzaddik that passes away. There are questions, and there are things that are very difficult to understand why this happens. But all this wasn't enough. All the questions and things that are not understood in the past, all this wasn't enough. To bring even a greater revelation of the glory of Hashem, which is removed. which is higher than the worlds, in order that that glory of the Eibusher should be revealed in this world, Haya Gamken in Silukan Shel Tzadikim. So yet again, the tzaddik, here the Rebbe is referring to the Friediger Rebbe, passes away. In order to, the purpose of it is in order to bring the world to a higher level, the next step of revelation in this world. And when this happens, it's not only similar to the Churban, but it's even more difficult. It's harder than the experience of the Churban. But the purpose of all of this is it's chas v'shalom, not that the world is going a step down and the world is going further away from its purpose. Adarabah, the tzaddik that passes away elevates things and is allowing for the next step to take place, for a greater revelation to take place, which takes place with the new generation of the Deir HaShvi that brings a greater kayach to reveal the Shekhinah to a greater degree in the world. This is what's demanded of each one of us. That we should know that we are in the seventh generation. It's a very interesting expression. So, before the Rebbe was saying that we should know the Aveda we have. Here the Rebbe is saying, before even the Aveda, what's demanded of us is to know that we are part of Deir HaShvi, we are found in the seventh generation. Just that recognition and that understanding and that attitude is also extremely powerful. Shekol Mailas HaShvi. What's the advantage of the seventh generation? The seventh that follows from the first, to complete the Aveda of the first that began. What was the conduct of the first? Referring back to Avram Avinu. He wanted nothing for himself. He was not searching or trying to get anything for his own sake at all. He was not even looking for the Maila of Mesiris Nefesh, as we learned earlier in the Maamar, like Rabbi Akiva, where it says that he davened and asked, that will have the opportunity to experience Mesiris Nefesh. But the Rishain did not look for Mesiris Nefesh at all. He was just looking to bring the Eibishter's name into the entire world. And the Shvi comes into the world to complete that Aveda of the Rishon. That is our Aveda. Okay, continue tomorrow. Finish the Maamar.
Interesting, before you said that the Eskapia is like the Stalkus of the